This is an example of a pre-quiz. It's broken down by learning objective code and then the definition of the objective itself. With a problem the students will try. They will then turn their quiz in to get corrected. If a learning objective proficiency level is met, the student will get a check mark on that. However, if they miss the problem or are not considered proficient, then they will not. They will then want to go to their proficiency tracker and record all of the learning objectives which they got check marks. The proficiency tracker is going to be the very first page in every note packet they get for every chapter. And it's going to be a document they'll want to keep track of throughout the entire chapter. For the first pre-quiz they took, on here was the first 3 sections, which included 10 learning objectives. On the pre-quiz, if they got the learning objective correct, they would want to come on here and give themselves a check. So let's assume the student got those 3 right. The intention of this document is to help them make a plan on how they are going to learn about the other learning objectives they did not get correct in the pre-quiz. Now the choices they have is they can watch a video that's made, they can read the textbook that's available, or they can wait for direct instruction. I encourage them to, in here before we start, to actually write down how they think they want to go about learning the learning objectives they didn't know. So a student might choose, for these other 7 learning objectives, to watch a video for the next 2. For the other 3, they might read the book and take their own notes. And for the last 2, they might choose to take direct instruction and wait for the class lecture. This is not set in stone and can be changed at any time. It's just a way to help students plan how they want to learn. After students have finished all of the sections related to the pre-quiz, then they're ready to take the formal quiz. The formal quiz looks very much like the pre-quiz, except the questions have been slightly changed. You're going to see the learning objective number, the actual word, and a slightly different question related to it. Similar to the pre-quizzes, the formal quiz will be corrected with a check mark. So if a student gets the learning objective correct, I will mark it off. They will then want to take their results from this quiz and go back to their proficiency tracker and record how they did. So now on the proficiency tracker, we're in the formal quiz. They will want to go and mark off the learning objectives that they got correct this time. Now, let's say that of these 10 learning objectives, 8 of them they got correct on the quiz. Now, a score will go in the gradebook for this quiz. If they are not content with that score, then they have the chance to retake it. However, they must take a step of intervention. Because these 2 learning objectives were not achieved, they have to come up with an adjustment to their plan. If there's a learning objective where they got it in the pre-quiz, so they never took notes, but they missed it on the actual formal quiz, what I would recommend as an adjustment to their plan is to actually go in this time and take some notes for it. If that doesn't help, what they can do is reference the extra practice problems that are listed in here for them to try. So for example, this other learning objective, they didn't get it in the pre-quiz, but they did take their notes and did the homework. They missed it in the formal quiz. So they already took the notes, so this time they should go directly to the extra practice problems and try those. After they've retaken their quiz, they want to come back to the tracker again. Look at, on this case, just the 2 objectives they retook. If they got them correct this time, check off that they were accomplished. The intention of this document is to give students a complete reflection of how they learned the material from the start of the pre-quiz to the very end to the formal quiz and retake. Once this is done, they're going to move on to the next few sections in the book.